Wolfman. I feel like I get to have an opinion on this because I'm half wolf myself, or at least I look that way.
So 5 questions about Wolfman that we have after seeing it. So if you're watching this, hopefully you've seen Wolfman. This is not going to help you a whole lot if you have not.
But also, if you have, we're sorry that you have. But only a little bit.
Only 50%.
Only 50%, sorry.
50% of us, 45 minutes of us are happy that you saw the movie. And the other 60 minutes, we feel bad.
Yeah, 90 minutes between us.
The movie is an hour, 47 minutes. Truly, question number 1, why was this not a short film? And we were talking a lot about movie theaters being able to play hour-long movies.
Right.
And how we don't really allow it as an audience.
Yeah.
And it's messing up movie. It messed up this movie, stretching every second to minutes.
And I can't tell if it was to extend time or to help the audience following along, when quite frankly, it was a pretty easy movie to follow. I thought it was...
Yeah. Because all you have is, so you got a guy who has kind of a messed up childhood out in the country, moves out to the city to kind of run away from that life. Wife and child, daughter, who he connects with, and his wife doesn't feel like she's connecting with her. So they decide, and he gets some news about his dad, to go back to his family home, his childhood home, where they end up having some issues.
There's a few. There's like, besides the dad, there's like one other character in the movie.
So question number 2, why is this guy in the film?
Like, the point of him was to be like a creepy person.
Yeah.
And he was a very, like, he unsettled you. Like, it was like, oh man, this guy is kind of not like weird, but he's like, I felt comfortable.
Well, he's those typical, like, Hills Have Eyes guy at the gas station. Yeah, he's like that, but he's out in the woods hunting. And they pick him up for zero reason.
The character explains, like, as almost like a plot device, almost, why he would not join them on that.
Right, yeah.
And then he does anyways. And it's like,
He tells us the rules, and then he doesn't follow.
and it's like, it keeps the plot moving, and later on it's used, like, it is very divisive in its plot for like, oh, I guess we needed this part later, we need this part later, so I guess let's do that. And oh man, it just felt so... I'll use the word contrived a lot, probably, because I felt like most of this movie, about an hour worth of this movie, was completely contrived.
Yeah.
Just to have specific moments later on. And I felt like he was one of the most obvious, worst ones. There's a lot more subtle ones in this, but this one is like very obvious.
That's what was annoying. So it seemed like it's like they wrote the ending or the middle scenes, and they're like, how did we get here? Let's just randomly sprinkle in these moments that are pointless, except for the one piece of information, like the dog for the doggy door, the guy for the gun. Like, there's just these stupid little moments where it's not needed, and that's where they extended the time to an hour and a half.
Like, a lot of this movie was so well done, but all the parts that I dislike how they extended it made me feel like they thought I was stupid. Like, it was just...
Oh, like you were?
Yeah, like I was...
Yeah, we were as audience.
Yes, like as an audience, it was just like, it would be like so impossible for us to believe.
Wait, you didn't know that the Wolfman could see in the dark?
No, never. I thought wolves only hunt in the day. I thought they were non-nocturnal is what I think.
I didn't know it until the 3rd time they showed me. And then I realized he could, in fact, see in the dark.
And well, for me, it was the 4th or 5th time when I was like, wait, it's dark outside, but he's still seeing.
He's still seeing them.
He's still seeing.
Somehow.
I think the worst part about that part is, okay, and that's my question. Why waste so many moments that were actually great? Like, why on earth would you have, because, okay, and you had pointed out, there is actually, if you pay attention, if you ever rewatch it, each time he goes in to see in the dark, there is noticeable differences. There is a sort of descent into madness.
I noticed that. And I didn't notice that until the 2nd time I watched it.
Right. But like, I wouldn't have noticed it because by time 5 that they're showing me he sees in the dark, I don't care.
Right. That's when you feel dumb. You're like, I know.
Like, some of those moments were actually very meaningful to the plot. And I think in some ways were good. But I missed some of those nuances of what was going on with this vision as he progressed because it was just happening so often.
Yeah. And there's a moment in the film where, you know, the director and the whole story reveals something to you that is not really known throughout the whole movie, and we don't need to spoil that for you. But when it does reveal that, it answers that question of why does he start to see like distorted people or distorted faces? Because then the wolf man doesn't recognize like who they're attacking, or like when they're giving into that instinct, they don't recognize that they're hurting people that they're close to.
But that does also lead to, I think, my biggest question, which is how come they made a monster movie and a psychological thriller and just slammed in the gut? I felt like I was watching two separate movies. Honestly, I'd probably say it's 45 minutes of monster movie, probably 35 minutes of psychological thriller, and like 15 minutes of plot device, just nonsense. But I thought, like, I would literally, I think the makeup and like how they made him look.
Practicals were off.
Right on par, I think, with The Fly. I think it was one of my favorite monster movies in that regard. I think the parts that were intense and scary that made you think like, oh man, this is a wolf, man, were actually chilling. They were like, oh, that would make sense if someone's going through this. That is disturbing and makes sense. This is disturbing and makes sense. The way he like moves, everything he does, so well acted, so well designed.
I actually felt that way too. I felt like The Fly. And I thought if you have like a parent who grew up back in some of those classic movies, they're going to enjoy those moments because it's powerful. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, I love that.
And until,
oh my gosh. Okay.
Bonus question. But we're not doing on the list. We got one question left, but we need a bonus one.
Was that what? Okay. Okay, let me preface this. They had done so well at this slow momentum of he's turning into a wolf. And then
very slow.
Probably, I don't know, maybe 25, 30 minutes left in the movie, he goes through a transformation. A transformation.
Streamy. It's like you think this is about to be awesome. Like so cool. Fingers growing. It's all happening.
Yeah. And you're like, sure, he's going to look so much different. Yeah.
Breaks a face.
Again, a terrifying moment.
It's a cool moment.
With almost zero
and he stands up and looks identical to how he just looked the whole movie.
But hairier. He is
hairy. He got hairy on his shoulder.
By the way, I think is the only thing they do not show on the transformation.
Not on his face.
No, not on his face.
They don't show any hair coming out.
But no hair is growing. Everything else is like...
as like an Old Spice commercial. It's like...
And then he just gets up and it's like... And the movie goes on. He was already changing at such a rate that made the whole transformation look... it didn't feel like a werewolf movie. This felt like an actual, like, a slow progression through. It felt believable. Like, if I had seen, again, if you just isolate the monster movie, I would be like, yeah, that's something that could happen. Like, it would be the most terrifying thing. Yeah.
Well, it came off, they did go more like the disease route and not necessarily like instant werewolf.
I honestly felt like it was like a new variant of rabies, kind of feel like that, like similar to what like I Am Legend did, but I feel like a way more believable version of it, a way more like personally terrifying. Of I would hate to go through this. Oh,
one of my last questions, fifth and final question. There's more, but we can't make this.
So many questions.
We can't make this video an hour and 47 minutes. My last question is, why on earth did they go on top of the plastic?
Oh. God.
If you were fighting somebody with knives for hands, that was the stupidest decision. And not only that, and then it's like, not only is it getting on top of plastic, it's let's hang out in the middle of the plastic.
Oh my!
And hang down 4 feet.
Also, well, man, and again, I think the acting was fine. The moment of like, there's like someone crossing that, and you're just like, you would not do that, and then it leads into a moment that feels very.
Wait until it's cut open.
Yeah. Oh, across, and those parents
grabbed me.
None of the parents were like, "Don't do that." That's a very dumb idea. Like, nothing. And then there's a moment right after that that's actually very powerful. Except that they could have done that instead of not going to the Tark. And it was just like it's like they just get rid of the Tark. Do not do that.
That's an extension moment. Like that's exactly what we're talking about. They made that like a 15-minute moment. Yeah. When they could have skipped the greenhouse, the tarp, and just had them running.
Right. Oh, that one bothered me so much. You could have had so many other things.
But as always, I would say watch it yourself. You'll see it in the theater. It was fun for the sound. The sound does some pretty incredible,
gosh,
pretty incredible things. So if you feel like it's a theater experience for you, go see it.
Yeah, see it with one eye open.